Hi everyone. Today's lecture will be, I wouldn't say easier, maybe slightly shorter, but I hope that it's going to be interesting as well. So we will revisit the game of sorts that we did last time and fix the code a little bit more and stuff like that. Also, we will mention a bit more complicated classes that you can make and methods in them. A revision of structs, and that will be pretty much it. So, okay, so first revisiting the code, then we will talk about namespaces, and I'll show them in this code as well. Then you should already know what structures are and how to use them, but just a very short slide to indicate the key difference between them. Although you should know it. Does anyone know what's the difference between a struct and a class? Value types, yes. So if someone asks you at an interview, this is everything that you need to know. Otherwise, just make classes, and that's that. Okay, so then we are going to be talking about generics, indexers, and operator overloading. We'll see what that is. Simple inheritance, I did not remove it, but I'll leave that for another time. So I guess this will be enough in terms of new things to be done today. Right, so okay, code review. So let's get back to our code. Today only I'll be using Visual Studio 2013 for a reason that will become apparent in a second. Just there is a tool that I want to use and I want to show it to you that is not still available for 2015 for some reason, and yeah, that's it. So let's open up the bunny project. Alright, it looks pretty okay to me, but we'll see what the tool is gonna say. So alright, so let me first review everything that we did last time, so that if someone wasn't here, so that they know what's going on. Okay, so we're making a game which is bunnies versus zombies, and we made some classes for the bunnies, for the zombie, and so on. Okay, so we have the zombie here. This is the constructor. We have health, we have damage. These are the properties which are automatic, so we are not doing any validation here. We have the method which is take damage, we have the method which is attack, and we have overridden the two-string method so that it's easier to use with the console. Okay, we have bunny breed, which is an enumeration, which is gonna denote what breed is our bunny. Okay, and this is the class bunny, which is the main thing from last time, to remember how we structured it and so on. So first we have some constants that we use below. Have maximum name size, minimum name size. Those were used for validation. Also maximum health. We have the breed, which is the default breed mini. Also default name, default health, random seed for our ID generation, and so on. Okay, so we have this RNG, which was read-only field, and the only difference between the constants and the read-only fields is that the read-only fields you can instantiate once however you like with the keyword new, whereas constants can only be value types, I think. Yeah. Right, so okay, after that we have fields, which are gonna be used for validation later on. This is the way that we hide some information from the outside world. And sleeping again? Almost, no. Okay, so we have the counter, which is gonna help to generate our bunnies. Constructors, and this way with the keyword this we were reusing some of the code that we written, and this is our main constructor. So this generates the ID, we get the name, we get the health, the breed, and we instantiate the carrot bullets. I don't know if I mentioned this last time, but it was really easy to instantiate them below here as well. You know, just say new and so on, but those kind of operations should be done in the constructor always. Okay, then we have the properties with the validations here that we did. So throwing an exception when we're not satisfied with either the changed value or the instantiated value. For the health, the same thing, and so on. So we have methods below, which we did, and yeah. Okay, we have the carrots as well, and so on. We can shoot zombies, and yeah. Okay, right. So how to make this code better? Okay, one thing that comes to mind is that everything is in a single file now, and we have to change this in you know, separate classes so that we can operate with them a little bit easier. But the first thing that I want to do is actually change this console write line. Everywhere in every single method that I use console.write line, I want to change it. Can anyone tell me why? Maybe I won't print it in the console. Okay, so this is correct. Yes. So the fact is that right now my bunny is coupled with the console, right? They cannot work one without the other. So if I want to implement a different bunny, which is, you know, in some graphics engine like Unity or Monogame, this is not gonna work because I've said, you know, use the console, and I may not have the console, or I may not be able to use the console. So this is called coupling, and I want to get rid of all of them. So instead of writing something, I would just like to return some string so that later on I can use it however I want. Maybe I want to make a text inside Monogame, which will be different. It will not use the console.writeLine method, but will use something else. So I want to change this everywhere. So instead of having void here, I would like to return string. And here, instead of writing on the console, I would like to say return string.format. Do you remember this method? Well, this is very useful now because I'll be decoupling my code from the console, and the only thing that I'll be returning is string, and I can use strings anywhere that I want, even in the console. So later on, if I want to print this message, the only thing that I have to do is, you know, put it in a console write line. If I want to use it as a in some sprites or something else, I can always take the text because, you know, it's string. You can always take it. So string.format bunny is dead. Or I didn't need it here really, but you know, let's just leave it like that. And now I have an error that not all code paths return a value. Okay, so here I don't want to return any string in the else, like any informative message. So I'll just say return the empty string, and that'll be fine. Okay, where else do we have it? So here, we have it here. So instead of doing that, I would like to say public string. And here I would say return. Let's do it differently this time. I can just return this. Okay, and I'm going to get the same error that not all code paths return a value. So I'll just put that here as well. Okay, where else? So let's search for console. Not there, not there. Okay, we have it here. So here it will be now very, very good to have it. So I would like to say here string, and here return string.format instead of console write line. Okay, anywhere else, please? Nope, we are done. Did you all understand why we did this? Is everything fine? Okay, so now we are fine. And if I wanna, you know, print something, instead of saying bunny shoot, maybe something that I have enemy zombie attack. Yeah, so if I wanna have the message to print, I should just say, you know, console.writeLine if there is a message to be sent. Otherwise, all of the operations will be done. Maybe here I don't return string. Yeah, I don't. Okay, yeah, never mind. So, yeah, anyways, The idea is that if my method returns a string in some of the cases, then I don't have to put it in console write line for it to work, right? It can just go through it, and if I want to print it, I print it. But the point is that everything will be executed exactly the same way. All right, so yeah, so let's now separate this into classes, because this looks pretty horrible right now. Okay, so yeah, first of all, let's take the zombie. So I would like to click here, right click, and say add class, and I'm gonna call this class zombie. All right. It generates quite a lot of things for us. I'm gonna delete that. Let me zoom in. I'm gonna delete that, and I'm gonna delete that as well. So now let's get back to the code. Take only the zombie and put it here. Okay. I should not be leaving it without an access modifier, so I should say public zombie, because we are going to be using it elsewhere as well. And let's do the same for the others. So right click, add class. I would like to say, I think, so let me just do something else. I'm not sure, but if I click new item here, was there enumeration here? No, so let's just make it into a class as well. I have a vague memory that there was something like enumeration, but I really don't know. In any case, it's gonna work. So here I want to say bunny breed, add, and let's go back here and just copy all of that. Go to bunny breed, paste it here, and delete all of the usings, because we are not using any of them to create our bunny breed. And yeah, it's public, so it's fine. Okay, what else do we have? We have the bunny class. So add class. I'm gonna call it bunny, of course. Okay, so so we are here. Just select it, and we go to bunny. Okay, delete all of the usings here, but we are gonna get some errors, right? So I have random, which I'm using, but it doesn't have using, so there. Also list, I can't use list without a using. And one more. Okay, last, this was link, I think, using system.link, but up here. Come on. I should be able to, using, so let me copy all of that inside, using system.link, and now it should be fine. Yeah, it went away. I don't know why Visual Studio didn't guess it, but yeah, I don't know. And I don't know if, yeah, that's fine. Of course, I have to put this class as public. And one more thing that I have to do, so we had bullets at the very bottom, somewhere around here. So we had some bullets, and I want to make a separate class for that as well. So add class, I'm gonna call it bullets, or carrot, sorry, it was carrot. And I would like to add it from the bunny to carrot, and make this public as well. Public. Okay, delete everything here because we don't need it. If we need it, we are gonna know. Okay. Okay. So let me check if I have any spaces left somewhere. Maybe here. Anything that didn't copy properly. Okay, it looks sort of good to me, or at least fine. I think I have a space here that I don't need. Okay, so one thing that you should have noticed is that all of the usings I put inside the namespace. So this is a requirement for the quality of the code as well. So everywhere when you have usings, they don't have to be above the namespace but inside, for some reasons that are not that important right now. So everything that I've just done, so Control X, Control V, and do I need this actually? Organize usings. So you have this very cool thing here, which is organize, and then if I click here, remove unused, it's gonna remove everything that I don't use. So I didn't need those two, and I just deleted them for me. The only thing that I need is system, so I'll just copy that inside. The other one I didn't need. Okay, right. Okay, now comes the interesting part. So I've tried to write as well as I can, but there are always some errors that I can fix, I guess. And to do that, there is a nice tool that you can use, and it's called StyleCop. So let me go here. So you type in Google StyleCop, and what's gonna happen? You will be redirected to this page. You click on download, and you're pretty much done. Okay. The only reason why I'm using Visual Studio 2013 today is that it doesn't have it's not ported to 15 yet. So yeah, if you want to use it, and you probably will have to just, I don't know, for your teamwork projects, then you can just test it on another computer or something like that. I'll let you choose it, or on the other hand, it's very likely that they will update it very soon. So yeah, but otherwise I'll be using Visual Studio 2.15 because of the features it has. Alright, so once you install it and everything is fine, you can right click on your project, and this thing comes up, run StyleCop. Okay, StyleCop is really annoying sometimes because it requires documentation for everything. So just unclick this here, and it's not gonna look for documentation rules. And in general, you can look for the rules that it requires. So layout, naming, ordering, and so on. You can check the ones that you want to keep and the ones that you don't want to keep, but I would recommend leaving everything but that. So documentation, it's good to have one, but for it will take you a lot of time, which is going to be unnecessary right now. If you want to, you can do it for your own games that you write for the teamwork projects. That would be really cool if you have the time. If not, just you can just add some explanation for each class, which is going to be just a couple of words or something like that. So okay, but other than that, leave everything in here. Okay, so how did I get here? I got with right click on the project and StyleCop settings. But if I run it now, we'll see the millions of errors that I have. Okay, so 54, that's not too much. Okay, normally if you test this on one of the bigger homework assignments that you had in the previous course, then it will probably give you more. So I'm very happy with 54. Okay, and let's do them one by one. Okay, so class must have an access modifier. So where is that? Okay, here. So it says that, and it's clear what I have to do. I have to say public, private, internal, or protected. So I'll just put public. Okay, and now if I run it again, there was a shortcut, but I don't really remember what that was. Okay, the method must have an access modifier. So static void main, I'm not really sure, but let's put it private maybe. Is everything gonna work now? Let me just say that my code should now work fine when I run it. So these are just styling errors that we have. So it runs, everything is fine, but we are just trying to make it as readable and as good as possible. And the StyleCop is very annoying in this sense, because it gives you absolutely every single space that you've missed, every single new line that shouldn't be there, and so on. So let's keep running that. Invalid spacing around comma. Nice. And here I have actually two, so if I fix them both, then I'll get 2 errors less. So if I press Control A, KD, it fixes. So this comes from Visual Studio straight away, the spacing between commas. So let me just do it everywhere and see if I can decrease the number of warnings that I have. So let me just say it here. Control, oh, not there. Control KD, bunny breed. I don't think so here, but you never know. Carrot, not here. Okay, let's see if I've decreased them somehow. So run StyleCop again. 50. Okay, I removed the two that were already here. The comment must start with a single space to ignore this error when commenting out of line code, blah blah blah. Okay, nice. So everywhere where I have comment, I have to start with a space, which is something that I didn't keep last time when I was doing that. So let's do it now. Okay, constructors, any more of these? Okay, I have properties here. Validation. You know, it's annoying at first, but once you start using it, you get less and less errors. So the ones that I have now, you know, they're pretty basic. I used to get. So here I see another one. So here I have an unnecessary space. So I'll remove that, and after the brackets, I should have another enter or a single line, because it shouldn't be there. I don't know if this is an error, if I can put comments on the same line, but we'll see what StyleCop has to say about that. Okay, I think we're fine. We fixed a couple, so let's see what's going on here. 39, we are doing better, I think. Adjacent elements must be separated by a single line. So this is what I said. So when I have two adjacent elements which are of the same, you know, type. So here I have a property, here I have a property as well. They should be separated by a space. And I have somewhere else I have the same error here. Maybe. Let's just run it again and see whether we've fixed that. Okay, get and set, the same thing. I have to have a space there. I have to have a space here as well. Statements or elements wrapped in curly brackets must be followed by I did that already, so let's run it again. Something happened. 32, we are doing better. So let's say, okay, so here I have to have a blank space as well. Here I have to have a blank space as well. Field names must not contain underscores. Okay, so this is something that I would normally remove from the StyleCop settings, because this is my personal preference. The way you should normally write the constants is the same way as you know, methods and properties with Pascal case. So I would have to write here minimum name size, and StyleCop is not going to tell me anything about it. It's going to think that this is correct, but I am just gonna leave it as is. Okay, because I believe this is better to read. You can write it however you want. Okay, just not outside of those two rules, I think. Okay, so we'll just ignore all of these, and I can actually remove them from the settings, but I have no idea where they are. They have a number here, so I can probably find them, but let's not do that now. Okay, field names must not contain underscores. Okay, so this is that. Static read-only fields must start with an uppercase letter. I didn't know that. So RNG, capital letter. Oh yeah, and I have to, you know, not do that. So Control R, RNG, and apply, and we are done. Okay, let's have a look at the next one. The static keyword must come before the other keyword. Private, yeah, so private static read only. I think that's the error there. Yeah, I guess. All static private fields must be placed before all non-static. Okay, so yeah, I did order them correctly last time, but so here I have to put this there. Okay, all private methods must be placed after all public methods. So the problem here is that this thing should be somewhere further back down. So toString, then we have shoot, and somewhere around here, I think. Now I have the space, of course. And let's see if I've left anything. So here I have unnecessary space and so on. You know, you get the idea. You just do everything that it asks you. It's really, really good. I would say, what is this? See, this is now very interesting because I return an empty string this way, and it actually tells me, and it's better to actually return string.empty here as well. Because it's you know, pretty much the same, but it's more clear what we are doing and why we are doing it. It's more descriptive, and I'll change it here as well. Or maybe not. I've changed the line, so it must have gotten confused. So string.empty. Let's see if there is anything interesting here. JSON elements must be separated by a blank line. Here as well. Here as well. Okay, statements or elements wrapped in curly brackets must be followed by a blank space. So this thing here, let me run it and see how we are doing. Down to 18. Use the built-in type alias string rather than string or system.string. Interesting error that one is. Let me change it elsewhere as well. String, and I don't see it anywhere else. I didn't know that as a rule, so every time I learn something new when I deal with StyleCop. Okay, and we are down to 14, and I'm not gonna bother with them that much anymore. You can have a look and you know, fix all of your errors. That thing with the constants, I presume, is gonna be somewhere around in the settings. You can remove it if you want to, or just, you know, use your own way of writing. So normally it says that they have to be Pascal case. But I don't make the difference then between a property and a constant, and I would like to be able to make that that difference if I was to have a look at it. Okay, you know, this looks fine now. I mean, a lot better. Well, not that much, but you know, a couple of things were interesting from StyleCop, but the code still doesn't look that well. And can you point out one thing that is not well with the code? Yeah, ask first. Okay. From all of the classes, as you saw, I mean, I fixed errors from bunnies versus zombies, from bunny, from carrot and zombie, so everywhere. It just runs through all of your code. So if you see, I right click on the project, and then it. There was a nice shortcut. Was it Control Shift Y? Yeah, I mean, first time. I haven't used that in a year. So Control Shift Y, and it automatically does that for you, so that you don't have to right click every time. Okay, right. Any other questions? Nope. Okay, can you tell me now what's still wrong with my code? Think more outside code wise and more project wise. Game loop, I don't have a game loop, so. Sorry? I have the entry point, which is here, bunnies versus zombies, which I could rename as, you know, entry point, or but I think this is fine for now. It's kind of clear that's the game that we want to play. Anyone? Okay, what happens now if I have 10 different types of zombies and or make them 100, and then I have 3 or 4 bunnies characters, and then I have 50 enumerations and 20 bullets and so on. They would all have to be in separate classes, right? Which means that this you know, field right here is going to be filled with classes, and I wouldn't be able to find anything. And this is why we use folders, and this is why we use namespaces as well. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to add a couple of folders. So let me add folder, add not there, add folder. So how many am I going to need? So I have one for the heroes, one for the enemies. I have one for the bullets. So I think four. Let's make them 4, and we'll see after that how it goes. New folder. Okay, and let's call this one I don't know, heroes or bunnies, or how do you call a friendly character? Ally. Okay, allies. It's fine. You can have some other allies, not just the bunny, but maybe someone else. Okay, we have enemies. We have enums. Sorry? I would call them bullets, but because this is how we, instantiate it, we just have the bullet. But yeah, it can be, weapons. It can be anything that you want. So bullets. All right, and so I would move the carrot to bullets. I would move the zombie to enemies. Here, I would move the bunny to allies, and I would move the bunny breed to enums. Alright, and now everything is in folders. I can have many more, so if I have different types of bunnies in here, I can do different folders in there as well, and so on. It's not that complicated. These are just folders. Okay, so let me just remove that because it's annoying, and let's put it down a bit now. Okay, if you see now, if I compile my code, then it still runs, right? So the folders are purely like a cosmetic change to our code, and it's nothing special. But the other thing that I have to do is, once I've added the folders and I have some logic for them, it will be good to put the same logic into my namespaces. So I did mention namespaces briefly last course, but they're like folders, okay? And if you see, we have system has some classes, then we have system.collections.generic, and in there we have some collections like lists and hash tables and stacks and so on. So this is my structure in the system, and I would like to keep it the same way in my project as well. So here I have so let me go back to the entry point. So this is my entry point. It's allowed to just be bunnies versus zombies this class, because this is the entry point, right? But everything else I want to actually put in a separate namespace, which is going to tell me exactly how my folders and how my project is organized, so that not everything is in this namespace. It's just more organized. So here, bunny breed, I would like to say namespace bunnies versus zombies dot enums. Okay, the same as the folder, because this is my logic that I originally had. And okay, so this is gonna break a lot of things, but we're gonna fix them. So for now, let's just change them. Okay, so here I want to go to zombie, and I want to get into enemies. Just change the namespace. Then we have to go to carrot dot bullets, and I have here dot allies. Okay, now everything is where it has to be, right? I don't have the zombies and the bunnies and then the carrots in the same place. They're now in like different subfolders of my main game. All right, so how do I fix these errors now? So the easy way is just to go through them all, Control dot, and that should be just press enter, and Visual Studio is smart enough to do that. So yeah. Here it appeared at the top, and if you not know, maybe I didn't have this error with StyleCop, but it also asks you to order your usings in a specific way. So if I decide to put this somewhere around here in between, then I'm gonna get an error in StyleCop, but there is an easy way to fix that. So I just right click here, and then organize, and then sort using. So let me just zoom that here. Okay, sort, and it's gonna sort them for you. So let's have a look how this works, and I'll be able to tell you what the rule is. So the system usings are at the bottom, and they're ordered alphabetically, and then everything else is at the top, and it's also ordered alphabetically. And when I use all of the namespaces that I just created, they are going to be ordered alphabetically as well. Okay, so what else do I have? So caret, I don't have the caret, so zombie.bullets. What else? I have an error here. This small red square here is very useful, so I don't have the zombies as well. Control dot, and let's go up and let's see what happened. Okay, so we have bullets, enemies, enums, and they're ordered alphabetically, if you can see it. Okay, what else? Let me check for other errors. Here I don't have anything wrong. Here in the zombie I don't have the bunny, which is in allies. So Visual Studio puts them at the top, but we said that they have to be inside the namespace. And I have to remove this empty line, and I have to include one here. Okay, so once you start using StyleCop enough, you are going to get used to the errors, and you are just going to start, writing better code. And this is the best way for you to learn, I think. Okay, do I have any errors? Are we running now? No, we have an error. Bunny. So what's the problem? Could not be found. Are you missing a... Yes, I am. So this is now my entry point, and if you noticed, I am in the namespace bunnies versus zombies, but everything which is in a separate namespace inside this one has to have using as well. And this is why I don't just write using system and then use everything inside the system. I use system.text, system.io, collections.generic, and so on. So if you want to use the class, it has to be in the specific namespace that you've put up here. So let me just do that one by one. So we have the bunnies, we have the zombie, and do we need anything else actually? The enumeration, because I instantiate with it, and it did order them, alphabetically as well. So let me run it now, and voila, we are done. Assuming that StyleCop is almost done now, and we don't have any other errors, our code is pretty much close to perfect in this case. And this is what you should be aiming for always. When you have something about your code that is not really good, you should try to fix it. I should mention that StyleCop does not bother with naming, so it has no way of telling whether your name is good enough, right? Here I could have said it bunny. I could have also said var ASD1, right? It's not going to be able to tell you that, but this is up to you to know that ASD1 is not a good name. So try to name them properly. But it is going to tell you if I do bunny, and I say my bunny with a capital letter, it's going to tell you that the first letter has to be a small character. Okay. Any questions? Yes. Because they are specific to the specific namespace. Okay, so a namespace is a collection of classes. You can think of it this way, and each class has to have its own usings, right? Within this namespace. So if I have them outside, and if I want to change the environment, or just go with monogame or something, and if I want to copy my classes or just my namespace or my library, they are not going to be inside, and then you would have to add them manually, right? Yeah, this is why. This is also arguable, so yeah, I really want to point this out. So some of the rules that I am giving you are, they're not that specific. You should do this at any cost, right? They are. Can you please stop playing with your thing, because it's annoying. Okay, right, so it's not like these rules are the only ones and so on. So normally when you go into a company, they will have a predefined style of writing, and you will have to, comply with it. But if you follow these guidelines as a first, it will be, good enough, and your code will be easy to read. So you're like learning now how to, write code properly. And whether in your team, specifically, they will say, well, write constants this way or write constants the other way. This is just a very small thing that you can get used to and change, right? But everything else, many of the things that are here will be pretty much the same, right? And also these rules are language specific. So C++ has differences, like fields should be with a underscore and so on. This is something that we discussed last time. Question?
Yeah, I have a question about enumerations.
Yes.
Where they should position. I did some reading in Stack Overflow, and there are varying comments. Generally, people were saying that enumerations should be placed above the class if they're going to be used by different classes, and if they're going to be used by a single class, they should be within that class itself. While
Okay.
others were saying that they should be extracted in a separate file.
Yeah, okay, so the question is where to place the enumerations. Depends on the project. So as you said, if there is a single class and this enumeration is used only within this class, then it should be inside the class, right? So it's something similar with the bunny that we have now. I could have easily put the bunny breed there as well, and that's fine also, but I made a decision on my own, and I put it in another class, in another folder, in another namespace. So I assume that I'll be having different enumerations, and I would put them all inside this folder enums, and it's up to you, right? Depends on the project. So I would definitely not be using this folder if I had thousands of enums all over my code. I would find a better way to do it. But right now, I just showed you one of the methods, and I'm sure that there are others. But yeah, so right now I use these bunny breeds. I use them in the bunny class, and I also use them inside the entry point. So I would like to have them, separate, and just put them public and so on. This would help me, I think, further on. So this is a space here that's now kind of annoying, and I'm gonna delete that as well. Yes.
We made some constants for the validation of the properties.
Yes.
But we didn't make some variable for the message of the.
Okay. So the question, or more like a comment, is that we had constants for the numbers here, but we did not have for the messages. You are absolutely correct. Normally, I should be putting this as a constant. This is a constant. Just every message, which is probably not this one, I would say, but any other message which is like in a method, I would like to put as a constant as well. Yes, just write private string, and just put it there as well, like we did with the default name as well. So yeah, it cannot be perfect, and there are always different things that can be changed, but yeah. Any other comments, questions? No. Okay, I would like to very briefly talk about the differences with C++. So how many of you are writing in C++? Okay, how many of you know object-oriented programming in C++? I mean, up to the point where we've done it now. Okay, what differences are you seeing? And do you like them or not? You don't use quality. Okay, so this is not specific for object-oriented programming. I was asking more about getters, setters, constants, fields, private automatic properties, constructors, and methods should be pretty much the same. So any differences that you see? I mean, I've extracted a couple of them, but I just want to check if You have to write everything manually. So what kind of thing are you talking about?
For example, there are no properties which you can declare automatically.
Okay, so there are no automatic properties, and I think I know, or at least I read about is that you don't have a property this way. So normally you would have a method which is get name, and it's gonna get yeah, it's just gonna say return return this name, this dot name, and the other you just get a value and it's going to be set name and so on. So this is I think a big bonus, because this is very very nice, easy to read, and it's cool to have. I don't think there are all automatic properties as well. Do you have something like this, where if I don't need any validation, I can just say get a private set? And this is very very widely used. So if you don't have to make a validation, you can just do or hide some of the information, you can just use automatic properties, and it will be fine. Yeah, another thing that I have here is the garbage collector, which is a big bonus as well. So normally, let me zoom in here a bit. So this is a constructor, right? So as soon as I call this method, I'm gonna have the string name, health, bunny breed, and so on. They'll be somewhere in the memory, right? Because I wanna instantiate with them, and these are variables that are gonna be used precisely once, right? So this string name, I use it here, and then I don't need it, but normally it sits in the memory. So if you do something like this in C++, then you would have to go and check for memory leaks and delete and so on. So if you haven't done it, I'm pretty sure that this is one thing that you normally have to do. So good for you is that the garbage collector in C# is automatic, so you don't have to worry about it. Once this code is executed, and you have your object, all of these will be deleted in the memory. So here I'll have the name, here I'll have the health, somewhere around here I'll have another cell for the breed, and once I've used them, they are gone, and I don't have to worry about them anymore. So this is very very good, and it just makes your life a lot easier when you deal with that. Okay, so yeah, these are the ones that I have. I'm sure that there are others, and you can Google. There is a nice article, there is a nice table in Wikipedia where you can actually check the differences between languages and so on. But yeah, another thing which I don't know if it's gonna work here, and it's actually pretty new. It's as of the latest version of C# and the latest version of .NET, so I'm not sure if that is gonna work here, but let's check. So if I want to give a default value for my breed, so this is really really new, this is as of Visual Studio 2.15, I can say here bunny breed dot mini. Okay, and okay, so here I'm not able to do it, but I remember very well that in Visual Studio 2.15 I was able to do this. So this pretty much allows me to not have the constant above. Okay, so here you see this constant. With this line of code, I have my automatic property, which I lost there. So I still have it, but I give it a default value so that I don't have to deal with a new variable in the constructor and so on. So this is really really useful if you want to give some default value, and it's another shortcut that you wouldn't normally have in other languages. Okay, how are we doing so far? Boring or timeout? Okay, let's have a break. Okay, let's keep going. So we fixed our code, everything is fine now, and we are very very happy with what we did. So I'm just close that up and go on with the um, with the presentation. Okay, so we did that. We did the namespaces as well. Structures, I mentioned them, but I really want to have this real quick so that if someone asks you at an interview, you would know what the difference is. So unlike classes, structures are value types. So like integers, double, and so on. And not a reference type. So can you tell me what was a reference type? And we had a bit of problems with it when we were copying and so on. So arrays, all of the classes, the bunnies and so on. So all of them are reference types, which means that they have a reference to some point in the memory, and they're not in the memory themselves. So structures are more like the ints and the doubles because they're actually in the memory. Okay, structures can have properties, methods, fields, constructors, events, etc. So they're pretty much like classes. If I was to do the bunnies, I could have done them the same way as with structures, and I would only change one word. Someone said earlier that you cannot inherit structures. I haven't seen that, but maybe it's a good thing to check because that is a very key difference. So can you inherit from struct C#? I really don't know. Okay, cannot. So yeah, you were right. So structures don't have inheritance and hierarchy as well. So this is another key difference. Okay, and if you have to use structs, mostly they're used to store data, so only like fields. And a good example is like point in 2D space or in 3D space, where you would only have to use x coordinate and y coordinate and maybe z coordinate. Okay, this is really a rule that most people keep, and it's a rule that comes from Microsoft, but that is not a problem for Microsoft to make their datetime, which has a lot of methods to make them. So F11, no, F12, no. How did I enter F12? Okay, so if you see, datetime is a struct, but it has a lot of logic in there. But normally you don't do this. Think of this as just an exception to the general rule that everyone keeps. I would normally use classes, so nothing bans you from using classes, even if you only have a couple of fields. Just so that you don't have to make the difference. Personally, I haven't had the need to use structs in a long time. So let me just delete that here because we don't need it. So yeah, this slide is only if someone asks you at an interview, so that value types and you cannot inherit from structs would be the differences that you would say. Okay, generics, indexers, and operator overloading. This is the last demo. It will be, I guess, well, kind of large, but I think it will be interesting, and you will learn something today, something new. All right, so let's make a new project here. Add. Nope, I want to add it here. New project, and that'll be console application. C#, and I want to just call generics, indexers, and operators. Let me zoom in. This is very annoying in Visual Studio 2013, so let me do the usual things. We are now talking about quality code, so I will try my best to keep my quality of the code good enough. So normally what you would do is delete all of that, and once you need to use it, only then insert it. So I would call this generics test, maybe. All right. Okay, so the first thing that we'll be doing is generic method. So what is a generic method? You will see in a second. So let me say bool equal equals calculator dot r equal. Okay, and I would like to give two values, maybe something like 2 and 3, and I will be writing a separate class for this, which is gonna calculate public class calculator, and inside here I would like to have a method which is called r equal. So public static bool r equal, and I would like to say int value 1, int value 2, and okay, so this is a very simple method, so I would like to just say return value 1 equals value 2. Okay, yeah, two times there, so that I actually return a boolean. Alright, so you know, if I run this now and I say console write line equal, it should say false, but I have to change the properties of my project. And did I click? Oh yeah, it was on the solution. So here, current selection, apply. Okay, do you see now? Do you or can you guess why you normally always start from the first project that you have? Okay, why does Visual Studio work like this? Sorry?
Because your other .cs files are just classes and you can't stop.
Yeah, so other project files, they can be unit tests, they can be, you know, classes or libraries, or you know, some other testing and so on. So the idea is that you should always start, you know, from a single place, which in our game was the starting point in this class here, and this is why it does that. It's not to make you like to cause you inconvenience or something like that. So generic test. I didn't change that for some reason. So now I am here. I want to run this, and it's gonna say false because, you know, clearly they are false. Okay, but this is a problem because maybe I want to compare strings, right? And this is just not gonna work because the only thing that I am doing is you know, just comparing ints here. So I would have to do a new method, and if I want to compare characters, I would have to do a new method, and so on. So there is a way to fix that, and it's so first, how would you fix that? If you didn't know anything about generics, how would you go around fix that? There is a very easy solution to this problem. Use dynamics, something a bit less brutal, but on the same, you know, kind of idea. Var where? I cannot use var here, I think. Object is the correct. Yeah, you can't use var here, but I can use object. Object and object here as well. Okay, now I would be very amazed. So yeah, now it should work. So let's have a look. Okay, false, and if I put this as, you know, A, and this one is A, it is gonna work still. True, and if I put something like B here, it's still gonna work and say false. Okay, I would be very amazed if someone told me why is this not a good idea.
Not every object has default comparison.
We are gonna have this problem with generics as well. There is a way to avoid it, but you know, we are gonna have the same problem. So it's not that; it's something else.
In some cases, it may collide int and string.
Okay, I can write int and a string. All right. So what is the problem here? Yes, I can do that. So what's the problem that you see? There is no proper comparison method. Yes, that is true, but why is that a problem? Like, even if I do it with generics, I am still probably gonna have the same thing.
Objects may be ridiculously large.
Objects may be ridiculously large.
Reference.
You will get the
passed as reference. So can you elaborate on that? Objects are classes, okay, and these things that we given here are actually value types, okay, and there is a conversion between the two, which is called boxing. So boxing, when you convert from value types to reference types. So you know that everything in C# and everything in .NET is object, right? So this is the very base class of everything. Everything is an object. So if I put object here, this is actually a class. So if I press F12, you see that this is a class. It has a couple of methods that you probably have seen everywhere, because every type, every class has them. Even if I create an empty class, it's still gonna have these properties and more like these methods because it's still an object, and the object is the very base class. So yeah.
But we have override to the calculator equals equal. But can we name it equals the function?
If I type override equals, yes, I can do that. No, I can do that. So I can say public static, but I think it has to have the same signature. So let me try bool equals.
Without override.
I think it has to be override, because let me check. So you see this virtual here. This means that I can override it. This is something that we'll study in one of the next lectures, but pretty much any virtual method I can override. And the same thing is with toString, which we've done many times. The fact that here it is virtual means that I can override it somewhere down the chain of inheritance. That's what it means. Okay, but let's get back. So yeah, I can do that, and what we're doing is pretty much the same, but I just want to call it differently for now. R equal. Okay, so this is called boxing, and it really takes some of your speed away, and it's not a very good method to do it as well. And furthermore, I wouldn't know right here if I can compare these two. So the error that I'll get. What is your problem? Rename equals to R equal. No, thank you. Okay, right. So right here, I wouldn't know that there is an error, right? So there is no like compilation error. It will be runtime, which is still a problem. Your application could break at any moment. So right here, I can say false. But I don't know if I type something like new bunny here, it's not gonna be able to compare those two, and I will get an error. Do you want to try it? I haven't tried it actually. Public class bunny, and just say new bunny here, and let's see what happens. False. Interesting. How does it compare them? Does it do it by type, or? Still works. Interesting. What about if I say new bunny? False again. Okay. Sorry? Yeah, it compares the address. Okay, but you get my points. I'm sure that I can make it blow here. Give an exception if I try really hard, because there are some. Can I try with the list? Interesting. Let me try to break it just one more time, but I assure you that this is breakable. So list of, yes, there is. You want to say something? List of string, and I want to say my list equals new list of string. Okay, so now since I don't have any usings, I have to generate them as soon as I need them. Okay, not before that. So Control X, and yeah, let me get back here. All right, so now let's remove the bunny and do one with my list. Let's actually fill this one with something. So my list dot add and say ABC. False.
With a nullable type maybe?
With a nullable type. Like here, put null.
It's impossible.
It's impossible. I'm sure that there is a way to break it. I'm pretty sure. I just can't think of it right now. Do you have suggestions on how to break this method with objects?
What about 1 and 1?
What about 1 and 1?
True.
False. Interesting.
That's about addresses, as he said.
Oh yeah, they are casted as objects.
They are casted as
So
objects. So
that's not
the 1 is going to be casted to an object, and okay, so yeah, there you have it. A problem didn't. You know, this is very weird. So we cannot get true here at, you know, in any way. True. Interesting. Okay, so now it works, but now it doesn't work.
You can use value 1 dot equal to value 2.
Value 1 dot equals to value 2. Yeah, but that we kind of define the purpose of, you know, equals. Yeah. What if I change the object to dynamic? I said really not that kind of brutal change of the code. Like dynamic is, you know, one of the worst things that you can use, and please don't do this. And as I say this, in one of the later examples that I will give, I will use it because there is apparently no other way. But unless there is no other way, then please don't use dynamic. So let's get back to the point. I can make this method generic, which means that it's gonna work for every single type. So you see here that I am allowed to compile this code. It doesn't matter what it gives. We saw that that's a bit controversial, but normally I wouldn't be able to, or I shouldn't be able to do this, and I should get some kind of a compilation error or something like that, because, you know, in reality, which one is bigger? Is it A or is it 1? Or is it, you know, a bunny or a list of strings? You know, there is no way to do that. So we'll be looking at having the same kind of type. So okay, so let me put T here, and this T is actually the stands for your generic type. Okay, so this T can be anything, can be an integer, can be, you know, a string, and anything else. So let me put a T here and a T here, and okay. But right now we have another problem that I'm actually not able to compare these two, because not every type has, you know, this sign. Okay, so what I actually, why is this not? This thing should be, you know, in a different color, but it's not. Using system generics, and I do have it. Okay, let's just leave it and see if it works. But okay, so if I have here any type, and imagine any type, you know, any of the so any struct, any, you know, in the integer, long, and so on, there is no way of telling what I'm gonna put here. And so this is, you know, one of the limitations of generics, is that once you give this value, you have no idea what it is, and you're a bit limited to what you can use. And yeah, so how do I do this? Does anyone know? Comparative method, do we have it? So value 1 dot Okay, we don't have it, but there is a way to get it. And the point is that I would like to, specify what t is, right? Otherwise, there would be no way of doing that. So I can say where t column, and there is an interface which, just imagine that you haven't heard the word, would just gives you the comparison. So I comparable, but I may not be having the using for it. I comparable of t, I think so. Using system, and there we go. Okay, so what this thing says is, so have a t. So this is any type. So once I write t, just imagine any type that you want. So like int. So this t means like int here. That's what you imagine. Okay, so this t can be any type, but I would like to specify it a little bit more, so that I can use this compare to method, and I can use it only if I said that the t is being able to be compared by this interface. So yeah, we'll learn more about interfaces. I really tried not to mention them in this lecture, but it's kind of impossible to show this without having to mention interfaces. Yes, just put comma, and I don't know, I don't know what. I enumerable. There it is of t, and so on. You can do anything that you want. But here we are sort of contradicting ourselves, because we want the compare to method, and we also want it to be something which has I enumerable, which pretty much means that it has for each, right? So I wouldn't put it there. But yes, you can do it with commas and do as many as you want. Okay, but let's leave it as is for now. And I now say value1 dot compare to, yes, and I have to put in brackets value2, and what do I have to say? Just leave it as is, or equals to something, equals 0. Yeah, this is JavaScript stuff, so don't do that at home. Okay, so let's see if it works now. And then, okay, so now what is the problem here? It says the type arguments for blah 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 cannot be inferred from the usage. Try specifying the type and arguments explicitly. Okay, so what happens if I put 1 here now? It works. So this time now, this is the bonus, that I get a compilation error if I try to do something stupid. And let's see if it works. Okay, we get true finally for the 1 and if I put 1 1 2, can you imagine that true now? It'll be unbelievable. Okay, so let's try. Do I still have the bunny? No, I deleted it. But yeah, I can have also a and a. Can I have that? Is it comparable? What do you think? Strings. Okay, false. If I put 2 A's, true if I put characters. I really hate this. But yeah. So here something like B. False if I put A. Okay, so I just saved myself a lot of work, right? I wrote it with only one method here, and it works for any type as long as it has some sort of comparison. Okay. The interesting thing is that this is quite broad. It's not as you think. It's just okay. So it's just the integers. It's just longs and string, maybe a character and so on. You can do this with absolutely any type as long as you have I comparable. So I can do it with a bunny as long as I have this interface implemented. I can have it with the bunny as well. So I can compare bunnies as well, but then I would have to think how do I do that and so on. But the theory is that any type, even if you write your own type, which you will do for homework, you would be able to use this method on it, r equal of t, which is quite cool. All right. I have another generic method which is a bit more complicated, since you have it as a homework, and to write something which is going to be a bit more complicated than this. So I would like to do something a bit more complicated as well. So let's have another method. So this is going to be public static t sort of t, and I would like to have t, and I would like to call it array to sort. Okay, what can I have here? I would like to have the t's I comparable. So here I would like to say where t is I comparable as well, right? Because if I want to sort an array, then I would have to have some way, to compare the elements. Okay, and so again we have that t. By the way, you don't have to call it t. It can be. Do I say something funny with the t? Is it like?
It's the T.
Is the t like okay, like a chai? Okay, let's change it. And this was my next point. So instead of just t, you can have any name here that you want. So I can call it Pesho, and just so because it's so funny, I'll just do it with Pesho all the way. Okay, so you can have any name that you want, and the t actually stands for type. The most commonly used ones are t, k, l, and so on. But let's use Pesho here just because we are allowed to do that, because it's going to be more fun. Okay, so what's the problem here? Not all code paths return a value. So I would like to be able to return some array of type Pesho. So let's make one. Okay, and this will be the. Do I have to actually make one? Maybe I'll use just the one that I have. Yeah, I'll just use the one that I have, and after that I'll just return it. So return array to sort after I've sorted it. Okay, so I'll write probably the easiest way to remember to sort an array. So I would like to say for I from 0 to array to sort dot length, and for I really don't want to get into explanations on the sorting algorithm, but so here I want to say array to sort dot length, and I want this to start from I plus 1, and here I just want to have a variable which is going to be of type Pesho, but let's do that in a second. So array to sort, let's say that it's less than, this is for of I, array to sort of I is less than array to sort of j, and then I want to swap the values. Is this selection sort? Yeah. Sorry? I think this is selection sort. Are you sure? Yes, because I'm not finding the minimum one. I just swap the values, so it's bubble. Yeah.
The second proof should be to length -1, I think.
I think it's gonna work this way. I tested it earlier. If it doesn't work, I'll listen to you. But it did work for me, so I think we are fine here. Okay, and then I have to make a variable which is of type Pesho, which is gonna be temp, and this is where I'll swap the values. So Pesho temp is gonna be array to sort of I. Then I want to say array to sort of I equals array to sort of j, and finally array to sort of j equals temp. I was gonna write Pesho. Okay, and the only thing that we have to change, except for this one, is here I actually don't know if I can compare them this way, right? And I still have to use the compare to method. So compare to this one, and I want to say, what do you think? Less than 0, bigger than 0, bigger than 0. All right, and now let's give it a go. So just so that no one is confused, this thing peso is normally called T, and so that no one is confused, I will just change it. But yeah, you can put it as T, K, and so on. Here I can actually have multiple types if I want to. So here I can have T, K, L, and so on. That I'll be able to use after that. But since I only need one, this is enough for you to know. All right, so let's test it. So let's test it with some integer array and with some string array, and let's see what happens. Actually, I want to leave this, but I'll be using this list, right? Because it can be. Does it have to be an array? Array to sort. So I would say yes. Can it be a list?
Can be a string.
It can be a string. Can it? Interesting. Let's have a look. So I have. It can be a string, you say. So string. String to test equals. Okay, and now I want to say string console write line string dot join, because it returns an array, so I don't think that this is gonna work, but let's see. And I want to say comma, and I want to say sort calculator, thank you. So calculator dot sort, and in here I want to say string to test. So no, sorry. No, because you cannot sort the string this way, I would say. So let's make an array, and so int my array, let's call it my int array, equals, and let's do, I don't know, 0. And let's make another one with strings, my string array, and let's put a couple words, bunny,
Word.
T, okay. I'll put T inside as well. Peso, okay, that's enough. We'll just end it with peso. But I am very happy that you have ideas. This is really good. Okay, so let me put my int array here. Let's run it, and it works. Now the bigger test is it gonna work for string? What do you think? Let's have a look. Someone said no. You have a last chance to change your guess. Okay, but it should have worked. Maybe I deleted that. Academy, bunny, peso, T, Zar, and Zariba. Okay, so it works, and we did quite a lot of job with just a single method here. And yeah, so those are generic methods, and the last thing that we need to check is actually make a generic class. Why would you need a generic class and not just methods which are nice to operate with? Have you seen and used many times something which is a generic class? List. Okay, so all of those, lists, stacks, queues, hash tables, sorted lists, dictionaries, and so on. So all of that is generic. So at some point it was written, something with a T inside. And if I do go to a list and I press F12, this is what we see. So we have class list of T, which takes from the following interfaces. So we have the iList of T, we have iCollection, we have iList, iCollection, but please note that here we do not have the T inside. Okay, we have I read-only list, I read-only collection, I enumerable, and so on. All right. So yes. So right now, and for homework, you have to finish what I am gonna start now, and we are gonna be doing our very own list of T. Okay. So let me add it. Just copy paste it. I heard. Can you tell me why what you said cannot happen?
Because there is no source code.
Good. So why do you suggest it then?
The methods.
The methods. I was not that mean, and I wasn't give them all. But if you insist, I can change the homework as we go. Okay. Right. So let me make a new class here. So add new class, and I would call this my list. Zoom in a bit, and I don't need anything from here for now. I would like to call this public because I want to test it in the other the entry point, which is here, generics test. Okay, and let us create the list. So first I want to say my list of T. Okay, let me put it as, no, let's just leave it as T because you find that funny enough, so to keep you amused. Alright, so let's first start with the properties. So there is no way to know what the fields are, we have to kind of think of those on our own, but let's just start with the properties. So what properties does the list have? Count and capacity. Really good. You learned something from this course. I'm very happy. So public int count, we have get and private set, right? Can you set the count? Nope. So prop int capacity. Can you set the capacity? Actually, yes. So normally you would have to do this. So do some validation here. This is for you for homework. Actually, I could have left this, alone and just do it for homework, but I'll just start it and then you'll have to finish it, which I believe is a little bit better. But for now, I'll just put private set and you would know that you have to fix it. Alright, so, okay, so we have the count, we have the capacity. Where do you believe we have to put our items? Okay, so we have to store, the information of the list somewhere. So what do you say that is? Generic array. Yes. So T, and I would call this items. And it has to be private, because why? Sorry? No one needs to see how we implement our list, and this is the correct answer, right? Because this is something hidden, something like, so if a person wants to use it, he wouldn't need to know how I implement it, right? He can just say add an item, remove an item, everything else he doesn't really care about that much. Okay, so this is going to be our field, and let's have a constructor then. Okay, and this is empty. Okay, so what do I need to do in the constructor? What do you think? How is the list initialized at first when I say count at 0 and capacity of something? Okay, so let's do that. So this dot capacity is how much? Cool cool stuff. Let's put it at 16. I'm not sure whether it was 16 or 8.
I think it's 2 or 4.
It's not 2 definitely, but it could be 4. And you know, let's just stop arguing and let's just delete that and let's just see what is it. Nope. All right, so let me just put it here, and we are gonna say my list dot capacity. Where it says 0.
Wow.
What if you add 1?
Let me add an element and see what happens. My list dot add 4. Okay, let's initialize it with 4. I'm absolutely fine with that. Okay, and okay, what else do I have to say? Count 0. Okay, this dot count equals 0. What else? There is something really, really, really very important. Sorry? Items equals no. It's no right now, but you're on the right track.
Must contain 4 elements.
Complete a counter of
New-
the index.
UTLA.
You're yeah, okay. Sort of. You were gonna get it eventually. So I need to instantiate here this, you know, array of items of t's, because I'm gonna be using it after that, and it's not initialized. So this dot items equals, and I want to say new t of, you are gonna laugh every time, I know. New t of how much? This dot capacity. Okay, another problem that you see here in terms of quality code. The cursor is on the same line as, you know, there. The 4 is hard coded. So let me extract it as a control dot. Doesn't work in Visual Studio 2013. Perfect. Refactor, organize. Really? No, I just want to see why it doesn't work, but I guess it doesn't. Okay, private const. 4. Private const, I don't know, initial capacity or default, it's fine, equals 4.
The initial capacity is 0. If there's no
We are gonna make it 4. Okay, and it's actually kind of weird that it's 0, because if I multiply 0 by 2 at each step, it's gonna still be 0. So at some point they have to say that it's equal to 4.
Why to take a memory?
Why did? Because that's what the list does.
It's empty.
Yes, it's
You need
empty.
To have capacity.
This function is in
Yes, but yeah, okay, I understand your concern, but you are gonna use it at some point, right? This is why you create it, right? It's not gonna sit there empty. So eventually, when you create a new list, and we actually say that the capacity is for only when we create a new list, then, you know, you would have to use memory, right? Right now, it doesn't use any memory this way, this thing, because
In the beginning and use it in the end.
I can initialize it in the beginning and I can use it in the end. I really
Increase the capacity only if
This
you use
memory
the
will be used all the time. If it gives.
okay. You can ask me after. You know, I really couldn't understand that well. So initial capacity. All right, so we have all of that, and I'm gonna slightly help you with what you have to write, and but there will be a lot of checking to be done. So yeah, okay. So here I want to say public void add, and I want to have t item inside here. What do I want to do?
Check the items.
Add the element to the items array. So this dot items of count, and this dot count equals item. Okay, that is fine. Sorry, count plus plus.
Check the size.
Check the size. If the size overflows, copy array with double capacity.
Should we do a check first and then add type?
Yes, you should. Good. You're almost done with the whole homework.
You forgot space.
The space. Which space?
After the
The slash.
after the classes.
You do know that I'll be checking your work after, you know, like all of yours. All right. Anyway, so here you clearly have to do some checking, right? Check, then double, then copy. This is the main idea of the list. Yeah, there is a question.
I have a question. What about count is private set? How we increase it manually?
Because it's within this class. I can operate with it within the class, but I cannot do it outside of the class, except for when can I change the value of the count outside of the class? Okay, so when I initialize it or when I use the constructor. You are learning more. Good. Okay, sorry?
I forgot about this.
Yeah, okay, it's fine. It's fine. Kind of a lot of things here. So you did correct me for the spacing, but you didn't for the empty lines. Did you? Okay, just don't be that mean. Okay, thanks. Thank you. Okay. Right. What is next? Okay, actually I want to be able to override the string, something which I don't think the list has. If I write list.to string, it probably won't show me anything. So I would say public override not this to string, and I would like to say return where are you? String.join, and I want to say comma space, and here I want to say this dot items. Okay, so this is not going to be perfect, and you will see in a second why, but I would like you to fix it. Sorry? I am talking about the last item. I am talking about the last few items. But you will see. Okay, so again, a new line here that I didn't write, and I have a space here that you are learning. That's really good to hear and very annoying at the same time. Okay, so right now we are up to operators. Okay, so this is my class. You get the logic. I have t everywhere, and instead of just writing it with an int, I will just replace everywhere with some generic letter or words. Okay, and now we'll actually be doing the operator overloading. So what does that mean? So right now I have a list, okay, and it's generic, but let's say that I wanna say that the sign plus does something, right? Say that I wanna have an operator so that I can say I'll put it here. Say list1 plus list2, and that will give me some results, some new list, because right now I cannot do it, right? So the way to do it, and I really don't ever remember the syntax, public static, well, clearly public and clearly static, because it's for the class and not for the instance of the class. And I would like to say also my list of t, because this is what we return, right? I want to add two lists and I want to return one. And after that, the only thing is say operator, which is a keyword, and I want to say plus. Sorry, overwrite. I don't have it. Okay, I don't have anywhere to overwrite it from, right? I'm just writing my own. Okay, plus, and here, what do you think I should have?
List of T.
From T value 1,
List. Okay, so my list.
my list from T 1, my list from T
My list of t, you know, list 1, and my list of t list 2. Okay, and now I want to define some way to add them. And what do you think?
my list T result.
Okay, yeah, I'll put a new one. So my list of t result equals new my list of t. Yeah. Okay. What do you think after that? Merge the items. Okay, I would actually want to add them. So like a plus. So I want to check if, let's say, if they have the same number of items, and only if they do, then I want to check them. So let's say that. So let's if list1 dot count, we already have that, is different from list1 list2 dot count, and I want to say what do I want to say? Nope. What do you do when some operation that you're trying to make throw exception? Okay, so throw new. Well, what do you think? Operation exception, but I have to have control dot, please. This is really annoying.
You can plan the shortcuts manually.
Really? You know, I've installed this Visual Studio like 10 times and it never asked me to do that, but I think I know that all of the errors are in using those systems. So I would like to say operation, and it's invalid operation exception. Okay, and some meaningful text. You cannot add lists of different length. How does that sound? Sorry? Thank you very much. The first good thing about my code that someone said today. Yes.
Ask why do we need to not just add them? I mean,
Okay, what happens if I only have in an array I have 4 elements, and in the other one I have 7 elements? How would you add them? Okay, because I have some empty values.
in the end, you have an array with 11 elements.
No, I want to add them correspondingly. Okay, so if I have a list with 1, 2, 3, and I have another list with 5, 6, 7, I will add 1 and 5, then 2 and 6, and okay, that was not clear then.
I understand that.
Who did understand?
Well, now I
Could you
Who did? So yeah, who didn't? Okay, half and half, so I could have been right. Let's say that. Okay, now that we know that they're, you know, with the same count, only then I can add them. And right, so what do we do? I would like to say 4, and I would like to say you know, I can just choose a count. So first dot count, list one. Yeah. Normally, actually, you normally call this first and second, because it's more clear. But I will just, you know, just put a list one. Okay, and then I have to say result of I equals list one of I plus list two of I. Okay, and then finally I would like to say return result. Alright, so without looking at the errors, can you guess what the error is? Like there are two of them, and they're really, at least one of them is like really annoying.
Yeah, I on this.
Sorry, is there I?
These buckets on list.
Okay, so we don't have an indexer on our list, so I'm not allowed to use this. Is an operator as well. It's you know, this operator space. Enter here. Okay, so I'm not allowed to use this operator because I haven't implemented it. Right? It's my class, and so far it's pretty much the same as the bunny. But you know. I should be able to tell this class that it has to have some kind of an indexer, right? And what else? The operator plus is not defined for every t, you know, and it would be really nice if I could say something like where t, I integer, or I number, or something like that, but unfortunately you cannot do so, and I was really trying to research it today. So yeah, you are not able to do that. So this is the only place, and because you know you really have no other option here, we are gonna cast this to dynamic only once, and I'll say only today. Today is your free day. If you have to do some homework with dynamic, you can do it only today. Alright, so yeah, normally there should be a way, like with the compare to. If you remember, we inherited the interface iComparable, but right now, you know, I was really looking today. There is some operator dot add. Sorry, you are just horrible. Okay, there is the operator dot add, but I couldn't find it. Maybe you have to add a separate library or something like that. With this thing, it is gonna work, but I didn't find it. So you know, this is the way that I could come up with. All right, but then we still have the problem with the indexer, and this is the last thing that we'll be talking about today before, you know, testing our code and showing the homework and so on. I suggest because it has been a while now to have a 5-minute break, and then we'll finish in about 20 minutes more. Yeah. Right, so the last thing that remains to be done is just to implement an indexer, something that is gonna tell me hello, hi.
I'm here.
Yes, I can see you. So the last thing is to implement an indexer, which is gonna help us evaluate what, you know, this thing is. And again, I really don't remember on top of my head how to do that, and I always have to search it, but it's not that complicated anyway. So public, clearly, and then t. We don't have static because now it's tied to the specific instance of the class, and I would like to say this, and inside I would like to say int index. Okay. So this, you know, is the current instance of my list that I have, and inside I just have to define the index that I'll be using in my code below. So this is it doesn't look like a method, more like a property, because it has a getter and a setter, right? So if I want to get something at a specific index, I have to do one thing. If I want to set something at a specific index, I have to do another thing, right? So it's more like a property rather than a method. And the operator, when you want to overload it, it's a method, right? It has some logic in it and so on. What do you want to do exactly? But here I just have to say, you know, get and set, this Visual Studio is horrible. Okay, and what was there between them? I don't know. Maybe nothing. Okay, and then set, and then I have to put new space here and not do that because that's JavaScript. Alright, so get, what do you think I should put in here? Return.
This item type
Okay, so this dot items
index.
of index. Okay, because right now I'm using the array and I can access the indexer of it, so I can do it through it, right? So you know, this is an array. This is not my specific list, but this is the array that I use as my list, as part of my implementation. And how about that?
This item's index equal to value.
This dot items of index equals value.
beforehand.
Yes, yes, we should. So good. At least something keeps you interested in the lecture. Okay, so yeah, so putting the space here, then you have to, you know, validate when you have to set and so on. Can we actually set at the specific place in the list? Okay, so this doesn't have to be private, right? Okay, and we are done now. And I think that's all there is to it. Let's test. Okay, so alright, I would like to rename this to random list because I want my autocomplete to work. So my list, what do you want to use? Double. Double is good. Double list equals new my list of double and the brackets for the constructor. Okay, let's add some elements. Double list. Actually, let's first make another one. Double list number 2. Okay, that is fine. So okay, double list dot add. I wanna add one. Double list dot. What is your problem? Oh, nothing. Okay. Add. I wanna add 5. Double list. Dot add, maybe I want to add 7, and let's keep it there. Okay, so let's first print it. What do you say? I would like to say double list dot toString. So what do you think is going to happen? 1, 5, and 7. Other suggestions? And 0. And 0, because we instantiated with 4 elements, and the last one is going to be the default value for the type, so in this case it's going to be 0. Let me zoom in for you to see the 0 here. Alright, so this kind of works, but you have to fix it, and it's actually not that complicated. But let me just put it, oh yeah, it's in there. Okay, so you know. Alright, let's make another. So I'll just put it here. Double list, and then I wanna just add number 2. And let's say that I wanna add 2, 3, and then 4. Okay. My list of double, again, result equals double list plus double list number 2. Okay, and hopefully that this is going to work. So not case, I want to have result dot toString. Do you want to print the second one as well so that we can see actually? So I want to say this, I want to say enter, and I want to say number 2. Alright, so let's have a look. Alright, 1, 5, 7, so 1 plus 2 is 3, 5 plus 3 is 8, 7 plus 4 is 11, and so on. So this is how you can make your own operator and indexer as well. Do you have any questions? Nope, not at all. Everything is fine. Yes?
So what do we need to fix? Not showing the
You have it in the homework. You know, step by step. You can start from this code and then just finish everything that you need to do. If you have some problems or something is unclear from the homework assignment, you can always check how does the list work, and then you can check what kind of checks you have to make, validations, and so on. Another question. Can we try with string? Sure. Okay. Yes, that's why we did it. Yes, you are very correct. Do I want to copy paste? Or do I want to make a method? Oh no, it's I'm too lazy now. Okay, so I want to change this string. I want to change this to string. I want to change this to string, and string. And the result as well. And everywhere here, right? So can I just do that? How cool is that? And then of course here, yeah. Okay, so this yes, here. This has to be something else. Result string. This has to be result string. This has to be string list. And this has to be strong list number 2 list. Here? Anywhere else? Okay, so we have this, we add them, we get the A, pass B, we get the B, and we add we get the C as well. If we had just 2 elements like here, we should be getting an exception. In both? Well, it works for 3, it should work for 2 as well. Yeah. Any other questions?
Can you show the homework?
Yes, of course. I'm just asking, before that, if you have questions. No, let's go to the homework. So let me get here. I really tried to make it different and more interesting, and I hope that you find it fun and interesting. Organize your previous homework into separate files, namespaces, and folders. Decouple your classes with a console. I doubt that you have written them already. I would accept the same good solution for the first homework and for the second one. So if you want to do it straight away like this, it's absolutely fine. Has anyone actually done the first homework? Really? Good. Then you will be able to fix your code, which is good. Okay. So right, fix all StyleCop errors that arise. Okay. I would really like to say, although there is no way to check this, I would really like you to not use anything that automatically fixes them for you, so that you learn how to write code. This is the whole idea of the course itself. Yes,
There are going to be questions about StyleCop in the exam.
about StyleCop on the exam. Yes.
Why?
To be honest, well, not about style code, but quality code, like like a standard question would be true or false. Fields should be before constants. Private fields should be before constants. False. Okay, so that kind of stuff. Not would you? How many spaces would you put in the following instantiation? 1, 2, 3, or 4, or none of the above, or put your random answer here. It's
There
fine.
are going to be questions with more than one answer.
I don't know. I haven't made the test yet. But there will be questions. I would rather have questions where you have to write something on your own, like what's the difference between a struct and a class, maybe, and you have to write this, and maybe something else, like the keyword is struct, and for the other one is class, and so on. Okay. The second one is a bit more interesting. So create a class fraction with the properties or fields or both, numerator, denominator, and value. Okay, here I have an error. So let me just fix that real quick. So this has to be comma value, and the other one has to be and. Okay, so you have value, which is a string, something like 1/2, this way. And decimal value of, say, 0.5 in this specific case. What kind of, how would you hold this information? Double. Thanks. Decimal is like too big, and you wouldn't need to use it. So yeah, this decimal value comes from the math word, not from the. Okay. Perform the necessary validations when creating a new fraction. Wink, wink. You should know what that is. Overload the operators for plus, minus, multiplication, and division. That should be relatively easy if you know how to add fractions. Okay, test your application with different calculations.
So
The next
this is only for one. What 2 plus 3, not about expression.
sorry.
It's
No. Just for 2. I want to be able to say fraction 1 plus fraction 2, and fraction 3 plus fraction 5. I'll say it. Yeah, yeah. All right. The next one is a bit more hardcore for the guys that like algorithms and stuff. This one could take you a bit more time. And I'd say that those that are still in school will learn something new. Create a class matrix which corresponds to the mathematical definition of a matrix. Overload the operators plus, minus. These two are very easy. And multiplication is quite complicated. Okay. Well, not quite, but if you have never seen this, then probably it will take you a bit of time first to understand how it's done, and after that, make it in code. Check if those operations can be performed at all, which means that there are some conditions for these, like for all of them to be made. And finally, test all of your operations. Okay, the last one is to finish your generic list. You have to implement the following. So accessing by index, this is already done. Removing element by index, this is not done. Inserting element at a given position, this is not done. Adding an element to the list, this is done. Clearing the list is fairly simple. I think just a couple of lines of code. Finding element by value. Many ways to do this. It's up to you. And then we have toString, which is also done. So I kind of done, I wouldn't say half because I left a couple of things out, but yeah, about 30% of your last problem I have already done. Question and another question. Yes, go first.
All this in one project.
all of this in one project, however you want. If you wanna keep your game separate, do that. If not, or no in the same project, but in the same solution, would be fine. If you wanna separate them, it's also fine.
Create a list of matrices and matrix attractions.
And the matrix of fractions, you can try that if you want. I'm absolutely fine. But to be honest, a matrix of fractions will be relatively easy to implement. So
And the list of matrices.
list of matrix, yeah, sure, yeah, of course. I mean, yeah,
Because
go
you
go
can
for
do,
it.
Operations.
Oh yeah, with the list it's no problem because you have t. It can be anything. So yeah,
Is
it's
there a
fine.
matrix of T?
Yes, of course.
Finding the first occurrence of the element in the list.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat?
Finding the first occurrence of the element in the.
Yes. If it's not specified, then do it however you want.
And we should put our previous forms in this solution, or we can just change.
Okay, so I said this. So for your first homework, which is number 1 here, you can choose. Okay, so you can do it once and then put it in the first folder and then in the second one, however you want.
Just only in the first folder.
Sure, yeah, however you want. For those of you that have already done the first homework, you can leave it as is and just make the corrections later on. Then I will see what have you changed, which is going to be more interesting for me to check. Right. Any other questions? References and questions I already asked like 10 times, so that was it. Have a good evening.